Welcome all of you to our session on India's state of India's economy and the budget which has come now. Broadly, what I feel is that since you are all aware citizens of the country and you are following the news, so a lot of the information which I will be sharing would be known to you. What may happen, and that's my aim, is that the information starts making more sense. We try to develop a greater cohesion in the information, so as to know ये देश में हो क्या रहा है मामला. राहुल गांधी ने कुछ चक्रव्यूह की कहानी सुना दी. सीतारमन फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर टोल्ड समथिंग. Economic survey gave some this thing picture and all that. So we'll try and get a picture कि हो क्या रहा है देश में, एंड इकोनॉमी को सही करने के लिए क्या करना चाहिए था, किया क्या जा रहा है इस बजट में, और उससे असेसमेंट हम क्या निकालते हैं. तो ब्रॉडली दीज आर द थिंग्स व्हिच वी विल ट्राई एंड डू. ओके, so let me share my perception of Modi's politico-economic philosophy. Now, this is my perception. You will not find it written down anywhere. So, in my view, our PM feels that power is to be obtained through money of the richest few, and the votes of the poorest are to be bought by free rations. All this 80 crore free ration and all that. Then the politicians have to be bought. Opposition has to be attacked by all agencies. You see two chief ministers, one in jail, one has come out. Kejriwal again has been jailed before he could get bail, and corruption is condoned for joining the BJP. Corruption sustenance philosophy of Modi: buying or scaring judges, buying or suppressing media, scaring the opposition, then fooling masses through no judicial action. Some very big cases like Rafael, nothing happened. Pegasus, nothing happened. Adani's report, nothing happened. Scared media and false propaganda. Now, coming to recent times, I would like you to remember two major events which happened. One was this Ambani wedding in which reportedly 5,000 crore got spent. In my view, it was a vulgar display of dubiously accumulated wealth. The other event was the G20 meet, in which we spent around 4,000 crore. In my view, it was a stupid display of false garv in line with the false narrative of Videsh mein Danka. Now, let us see some of the important facts about India's economic status. Our GDP in 23 with 140 crore people was $3.75 trillion. The GDP of US with 30 crore people in 23 was $26 trillion. You can compare as to where we stand compared to the US. China's per capita income is $13,000. India's per capita income is hovering around $1,000 to $2,000. Average GDP in 10 years from 2014 to 24 was 5.8%. The average GDP of UPA 1 government was 8.5%, and UPA 2 was 7.5%. India's per capita GDP is lowest among G20 countries by a huge margin. In 21, Bangladesh moved ahead of India in per capita income. top 1% in India own more than 40.5% of the total wealth. That was a figure from 21. It may have gone worse now. Over 6,000 persons own over 200 crores. Over 4 lakh own over 7 crores. 70 or 99% of Modi's ministers are crore-patis with average wealth of over 100 crores. Bottom 50% own 3% of the total wealth. Since the pandemic began, billionaires in India have seen their wealth surge by 121% or 3,608 crore per day. That comes to 2.5 crore every minute. Adani's wealth in 8 years has grown 20 times from 7.3 billion in 2014 to about 140 billion. Trade deficit value of rupee. The trade deficit hit a record high in October 23. Merchandise exports grew 6.29%, while imports grew by 14%. Our exports were worth about 33.5 billion, while imports were of 65 billion. When imports exceed exports, our currency weakens. Weaker rupee worsens trade deficit because more rupees are required to import same quantity. Value of rupee today is about rupees 83. Before Modi came, it was rupees 60. So Modi misrule makes Sonia Manmohan, which was also a misrule in my view, look good. An important RBI report of 2022. It reported output losses for individual years of 19.1 lakh crore, 17.1 lakh crore and 16.4 lakh crores for 2021, 21-22 and 22-23 respectively. As per the report, India is likely to take 13 years or up to 34-35 to overcome the losses incurred due to the COVID pandemic. My personal view on this issue of RBI's report is mismanagement was the bigger cause than the pandemic. RBI found it convenient to put the combined losses caused by demonetization, ill-planned GST, and the 4-hour notice lockdown on the pandemic. Basically, things are attributed to the raw wisdom of Vishnu Avatar Modi. Fleecing of the masses. 50% of the population owning 3% of wealth pays 64% of the GST. That's how the wealth inequality is going on. 3% GST comes from the richest top 10%. Approximately 30 lakh crores were fleeced from the masses through tax on oil and gas in 9 years. Financial mismanagement and corruption. Banks have written off approximately 16 lakh crores of NPAs. Benefit to big corporates of loss of public revenue by reduction in corporate tax is approximately over 8.5 lakh crores. Total loan write-offs by banking sector in last 5 years have been 10.57 lakh crores. Over 2 lakh crores were written off in financial year 22-23. Electoral bond scheme, you know a lot about it now, was instituted to legalize corruption. How Modi Shah ran an extortion racket with the help of ED, CBI, IT has emerged in recent times. It has contributed in making BJP the richest political party in the world with over 5,000 crores of assets. About Rafale deal also you people know. Anybody has any comments or any additions to the points made so far?
Sir, I would like to add a comment. Like we are
Yeah,
talking
please,
about
most welcome, Kushagra.
the big corporates. तो सर 2019 में इन्होंने कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स 30% से घटा के 22% कर दिया और नॉर्मल लोगों के लिए वो 30% ही है। तो हिस्ट्री में पहली बार ऐसा हुआ है कि सर एक आम आदमी कंपनी से ज्यादा टैक्स दे रहा है सर देश के रेवेन्यू के लिए। इट्स डिस्गस्टिंग एंड शेमफुल। कॉर्पोरेट अभी इकोनॉमिक सर्वे में, अब तो सरकार के इकोनॉमिक सर्वे में आया है कि कॉर्पोरेट प्रॉफिट्स हैव इंक्रीज्ड 4x। मतलब पहली बार ऐसा हुआ है। बट द जॉब्स दे हैव श्रंक एंड द पेमेंट्स आल्सो जो एम्प्लॉइज को देते हैं वो भी नहीं बढ़ी हैं। एंड आई डोंट नो व्हाई पीपल आर ओके विद इट। कोई इस पे बात ही नहीं कर रहा है, सब चंगा है।
I will be,
जॉब भी
Kushag,
नहीं
very,
क्रिएट हो रही
very valid points. I'll be covering these things in due course.
है। यस सर, यस सर।
I'll be talking about that. Yeah, Praveen, what do you have to say?
Sir, in terms of like bank return of like this 16 lakh crore and all, I just wanted to add that there was IBC code also, bankruptcy code. और सर जो उससे पहले जो मतलब एनपीएस था उनसे लगभग 1 रुपए दे रहे थे तो 25 पैसे वापस आ रहे थे, लेकिन अभी 75 पैसे के आसपास। सो जस्ट वांटेड टू ऐड दैट सर।
Very fine. Thank you so much for the additions. Okay, let's proceed. Funds held by Indians in Swiss banks account rose to 20,700 crores in 20, the highest in 13 years. No documentary evidence can be obtained for amounts spent by Modi to buy MLAs or to topple the numerous state governments since 2014. 50 खोखा और ये उसकी बातचीत चलती रहती है in informal manner. So that is what we can know. PM Cares Fund is another dubious opaque fund created by Modi. UPA government spent rupees 504 crores on advertising per year during his 10-year tenure. Modi spent over 1,000 crores each year. See the difference. Foreign visits of Prime Minister costed the exchequer 1,484 crores. Manmohan had spent only 642 crores on all this. Aircraft of Modi is costing 8,500 crores. This is interesting. Modi's security cost is rupees 1.62 crore per day. Now see the comparison. Cost of water subsidy and DTC free rides in Delhi is 576 crore yearly. Cost of SPG protection to Modi is 584 crore per year. तो पूरा दिल्ली का ये काम जो है मोदी साहब की सिक्योरिटी से कम में हो जा रहा है. You get an idea. Central Vista cost the exchequer 20,000 crores. A lot of people feel it was not needed. This is one thing interesting. Truth of Bahut Vikas. In 10 years of Modi misrule, we have seen an investment of over 100 lakh crores in infrastructure. It forms the basis of Bahut Vikas propaganda theme. Over 11 lakh crores has been allotted in current budget also for infrastructure and over 2.5 lakh crores for railways. You would be aware about the quality of the infrastructure. The Ayodhya Mandir leaks, the Rajya Sabha building has leaked, the Pragati Maidan tunnel got flooded, Terminal 3 of Delhi Airport, you saw what happened. The Atal Setu, you saw cracks have come in that. Numerous bridges have been collapsing in Bihar and various other places. Morbi bridge had collapsed. Now let us see why Modi Saab is so keen on infrastructure expenditure. When consumption and private investment are low, which is true for India at present, public expenditure is the only option left to promote growth. CAPEX has a higher multiplier effect than consumption or private investment. So that way, to that extent, it makes sense, economic sense, as per the Keynesian theory. However, what is happening is through this capital expenditure, Modi and friends make immense profit. It also helps promote the myth of Bahut Vikas. Works get done primarily through contract labor. Permanent employees and regular wage employees don't increase. This is very much in accordance with the Modi model of governance. Maximum contract work. Illegitimate money made is available to buy votes or politicians. Yeah, Aniket, let's have your point, please.
Sir, I am living in Jharkhand.
Yeah.
My state is मेरा स्टेट बहुत अभागा है सर, मतलब डेवलपमेंट के हिसाब से. सो मेरे स्टेट में सर रेलवेज का बहुत बुरा मिसमैनेजमेंट है. We have seen recently there is a very terrible railway incident which is happening. Many people died. Sir, we have seen that this government is also taking money and not using the money on track management. सर रेलवे का जो मेंटेनेंस होता है वो नहीं होता है सर. और साउथ बिहार जैसे कई एक्सप्रेसेस ऐसे हैं जिसमें एसी तक में लोग खड़े हुए रहते हैं, जमीन में सोए हुए रहते हैं सर. एंड दे आर आल्सो रिड्यूसिंग द नंबर ऑफ वैगन्स. सो देयर इज अ टेरिबल मिसमैनेजमेंट ऑफ इकोनॉमी, रेलवे इकोनॉमी.
You are absolutely right. And that is why when Rahul met this locomotive pilots and all that, then the entire BJP was jumping. You have very valid points.
Sir, in the last 10 days itself, 7 derailments have happened, and this guy Ashwini Vaishnav एक बयान नहीं दिया सर इन्होंने. इतनी शर्मनाक बात है सर, मतलब अपने मतलब जब से 24 साल का हो गया वो इतना नहीं देखा सर कि एक हफ्ते में इतने derailments हो and no one is taking any kind of ownership for it.
Absolutely.
Sir, Vande Bharat is good, but they are not doing anything on the currently running trains, sir. जो ट्रेन चल रहा है उसका कुछ नहीं कर रहे वो. टॉयलेट सर बहुत ही बुरे हालत में, सब कुछ खराब है.
You are absolutely right. A view has to be taken of the entire railways and not Vande Bharats in isolation and keep promoting them by Hari Jhandi dikha ke and all that. Absolutely
Sir,
right.
even I would like to add, अभी इंडियन एक्सप्रेस ने आरटीआई डाली थी. इवन दिस वंदे भारत इज अ शैम बिकॉज इसका एवरेज स्पीड जो है बढ़ाया गया बाकी ट्रेन्स का वो कम करके. जो इसका एक कोच का प्राइस है दैट इज 10 times द कोच ऑफ शताब्दी व्हिच इज लिटरली टेकिंग द सेम टाइम. सो व्हाट इज द हाइप ऑल अबाउट जब आपका एवरेज स्पीड 63-64 किलोमीटर है, यू कॉल इट अ फास्ट ट्रेन.
Absolutely valid.
जाता है बाकी ट्रेन का टाइम बढ़ा के. सो इफ यू लुक इनटू द डिटेल्स, इट इज अ मोर एक्सपेंसिव ट्रेन which has less occupancy and just totally for optics, nothing else.
Absolutely valid points.
सर और एक चीज है सर कि ये जो रेलवे है ना सर, इसमें आप देखेंगे कि जो एक तेजस रेलवे चला था, एक तेजस का एक ट्रेन चला था, दैट ट्रेन इज आल्सो बीन यूज्ड इन अदर ट्रेन्स नाउ, दैट वो बंद हो गया सर. और बहुत बुरा, मतलब सर बहुत ही गंदा मिसमैनेजमेंट. आई हैव विजिटेड थ्री ट्रेन्स.
Absolutely right. Thanks for sharing your views. Now let us come to the major concerns for our economy at the present. So first thing, unemployment. In every year of last 10 years except one, unemployment rate has been above 7%. Unemployment rate among graduates is 42% according to the State of Working India 23 report. Unemployment rate among youth 15 to 24 stood at 23.22% in 22. Most employment today is self-employment, 57%. I was listening to the talk by Ratin Roy, a very respected economist who worked with the government earlier. And as per him, this was the pakoda selling kind of employment. Proportion of regular wage employees has fallen from 24% to 21%. CMIE data shows number of government jobs declined by 22% from 2015 to 23. A very significant tweet by Ramesh. It sums up a lot of things. I couldn't find a better way, so I, reproduced it. Here are the real achievements of Modi governments in 2014. Growth rate of real wages, agricultural laborers 0.8%, non-agricultural laborers 0.2%, construction workers minus 0.02%. Meanwhile, price increase for basic commodities since 2014, LPG 169%, petrol 57%, diesel 78%, mustard oil 58%, atta 56%, milk 51%. Poverty and hunger. Number of hungry Indians has increased from 19 crores to 35 crores. India ranked 111 out of 125 countries in the global hunger index in 23. India stood behind Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. The rate of undernourishment stood at 16.6%, under 5 mortality at 3.1%. Prevalence of anemia in women aged between 15 and 24 years stood at 58.1%. India also has the highest child wastage rate in the world at 18.7%. Here I will request Pansar, since you are basically a medical guy, of course you left your profession long back. What are your views on these issues about poverty and hunger, sir?
They generally can say the poverty and hunger is one is a hunger is there, and they both can say underfeeding, undernutrition, and the malnutrition all exist in children and everywhere. As far poverty is concerned, basically people are being sustained by this your 8 or 10 kgs of rations which are being provided every month to the people. That has become their lifeline in many ways. And everything started first from demonetization and then the lockdown during the COVID period, which were virtually can say close the small scale and the industries, and people who are working in the migrant labor, they were pushed back into the villages, and virtually the farm labor, the same number of farms are same, but the number of workers in the family, etc., have gone up. The people who used to earlier earn in the urban areas, they are back in the rural areas, there, etc. Virtually, the situation is absolutely very bad for them, those people.
Absolutely right, sir. Absolutely right, sir. Thanks a lot for sharing your views, sir. We come to the MSMEs, which Colonel Pansa was talking about. So it is the largest employer after agriculture. It employs over 11.1 crore people, or 45% of all workers. Approximately 6,000 MSMEs closed down as a consequence of demonetization, GST, and unplanned lockdown. State of farmers. This was also Pansa was talking about. India reported suicide of 10,677 persons in 2020. It is very difficult to get this data because it is deliberately hidden by the government as well as Godi media. As per periodic labor survey of 22-23, 45.8% of workforce is in agriculture. This what Pansa was talking about. A jump from 42.5% in 2018-19. This is a rarity. So approximately 4.6 crores workers in the agriculture sector have increased. And this is primarily disguised unemployment. Consumption growth from the end of 2018-19 to the end of 23-24 averages 4.5% per year. Compare that with the average consumption growth of 7.2% per year in the 5 years from 2013-14 to 18-19. Poor state of education. Budgetary allocation for education has dropped over 7 years from 10.4% to 9.5% as per the economic survey of 22-23. Between 2013-14 and 21-22, total number of schools declined from 15.2 lakh to 14.9 lakh, with primary and upper primary schools seeing a reduction of 1 lakh schools to 11.9 lakh. A report by Red Seer Strategy Consultants Bangalore estimates that the number of Indian students deciding to study abroad will touch 1.8 million by 24. Data shared by the government in parliament recently showed a 68% increase in Indian students going abroad for higher education over past year, 7,50,000 students in 22, as against 4,44,000 in 21. Poor state of healthcare that you are all aware, and also the Adani Ambani effect. So what's this Adani Ambani effect doing? Modi facilitates takeover of big businesses by Adani Ambani. It inhibits foreign direct investment. It inhibits competition and growth and thus jobs. Some examples which come to my mind are geo, ports, and airports. So once again, sir, I'll request you to say a few words on this aspect, sir.
About the healthcare, primarily the government has virtually shut down the public healthcare system. Whatever exists in the villages, etc., in the primary healthcare centers also, they are very understaffed, under-equipped, and under-capitalized in every sense. So what actually has happened, the healthcare system has been pushed to the private sector. Private sector is minting money, and most of the people, general people, their expenditure from their own pocket has gone up. And most of them, they do not have the capacity to spend the kind of money which the care requires these days. And that has led to the quality of healthcare has come down, because many the prevention is always better than the cure. So preventive aspect, the public health, etc., there the government has reduced their funding. The entire supply of water, the sewer disposal, and the food part, there people are undernourished. So naturally, in every case, whatever the preventive part is, that is underdone. And the curative part, where the people which it costs more, there the funding, adequate funding is not available. People can't spend the money from their own pocket, and government is not spending the public health system, and so private health is too expensive for the people, etc.
And the Adani Ambani effect, sir?
Adani Ambani effect, this actually what has happened. Adani is the person when the Narendra Modi in 2002 came to power in Gujarat. That time the BJP's main funder was the Pramod Mahajan. And Pramod Mahajan used to be getting the money from Bombay. And once he became the chief minister of this thing, he didn't want to be dependent on Pramod Mahajan or the central BJP. He wanted to have his own funding system in Gujarat. And Adani became his instrument. He gave to Adani land, etc., and he gave to our industry, etc., in Adani. During the time, in 12 years, Adani grew up in Gujarat. And once he came in 2014 to Delhi, he opened the, can say, entire cash chest of your government of India. He said, you can take anything and everything. All this, like airports, the ports, everything was purchased by him. The State Bank of India, it funded him for that particular thing. So virtually it became his own agency, etc. Ambani got help in In the sense, in the area of this telecommunication, etc., in those areas, your Geo, etc., and that area he got the help. Otherwise, Ambani got lesser benefit under Modi than the Adani kind of thing. Adani grew up faster than that particular person. That's what kind of thing.
Thanks for sharing your views, sir. Now we come to what should have been the focus of the budget, because that is when we understand the current economic situation as to what are the concerns, then these are the issues which the budget should have tackled. The first and foremost thing should have been unemployment. The next thing should have been price rise. Then about increasing consumption, because we said that it is in the zone of 4 point something, which is not okay, because consumption is the biggest contributor to the GDP. Then education, thereafter healthcare, then MSMEs, then agriculture sector, get concerned about the income of the farmers, reduction in inequality of wealth distribution, which has increased drastically. I mean, it has gone worse than the British colonial rule. Ending of the hold of Adani Ambani on the economy, reduction in corruption, reduction in central control over the economy. Now, after seeing the state of the economy, let us see as to what the economic survey talks about, then what the budget is talking about, and then we'll come to our assessment and all that. These things I will go over a little fast. There's nothing big deal about it. This is what government has been stating. So the first thing they've talked about that global growth is bad, trying to say that since दुनिया में सब खराब है तो हम बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं, that comparative. Then performance once again 8.2, दुनिया से comparison में बहुत तेज चल रहा है. Then it comes a growth strategy should focus on private investment, MSME growth, agriculture, green transition, financing, education, employment gap. This they're talking of now. This is in 11th year of Modi. ये जो है पूरा स्किल इंडिया, स्टार्टअप इंडिया, इतने कुछ इंडिया, स्किल इंडिया सब कुछ हो गए, सब फेल हो गए, क्योंकि मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का कंट्रीब्यूशन 25% बनाना था. मेरे ख्याल से when Modi started it was some 17-18%, it come down to 14% or something now. So that's the state. So this is what economic survey is talking about. Then once again it talks good के sustained growth हो तो अच्छा potential है हमारा. Renewable energy, non-fossil fuel source constitute 45.4% of installed capacity. Green bonds कुछ लाए हैं. फिर ये जो what Colonel Pansar talked about, so they are trying to cover up through आयुष्मान भारत से कितना भला हो गया है. Industrial growth 9.5% हो गई हुई है. And you know what's going on. Coal production का मामला बुरा हाल है. But naturally some increase is there. So they're talking about that there has been a record production. Otherwise, India should not be import dependent. We have got tremendous capacity. Coal reserve first class hai. We are just paying, and Adani is benefiting. You can do your study on these issues to get an idea as to what's going on. Then reported highlights of our budget. Fiscal deficit, this is a valid point. Borrowing कम किया है, that's a valid point. 100 branches of post payment banks northeast में डाल रहे हैं, that's okay. 12 new industrial parks, 10 lakh crore allocated for 1 crore housing. Credit guarantee scheme for MSMEs introduced. मुद्रा लोन का increase किया है. New credit guarantee scheme for MSMEs. Financial support provided for establishing 50 multi-product food irradiation units. E-commerce export hubs will be created. We don't know when they get created. Special packages announced for Andhra Pradesh and Bihar. The opposition is saying they've got too much, and both the government feel that they have also been shortchanged. Do listen to Shashi Tharoor's views on this. He has expressed them very nicely in the parliament. 3 employment-linked schemes to be launched based on enrollment in EPFO. Budget proposes to allocate 2 lakh crore for job creation over 5 years. New employment skilling schemes to provide skills to 20 lakh youth in 5 years. ये चले जा रहा है skilling का अभी भी, 10 साल में हो नहीं पाया कुछ. 1 month wage to all new employees to be provided as direct benefit transfer in 3 installments up to rupees 15,000. Eligibility salary limit 1 lakh per month. Scheme to benefit 2.1 lakh youths. Government will reimburse employers up to 3,000 per month for 2 years toward their EPFO contribution for each additional employee. Scheme expected to incentivize additional employment of 50 lakh persons. I have my serious doubts. Working women hostels and creches to be open to facilitate higher participation of women in workforce. Internship schemes for 1 crore youth in 500 top companies. Do read up about this, how practical this is going to be. Fine. There are a lot of, unrealities in this. Financial support for loans up to 10 lakh will be provided for higher education in domestic institutions. For log ja rahe hain bahar. E-vouchers will be given directly to 1 lakh students every year for annual interest subvention of 3% of loan amount. Comprehensive review of agriculture research will be done to increase productivity, developing climate resilient varieties. Funding will be provided in challenge mode, including to the private sector. 1.52 lakh crore allocated for agriculture and allied sectors. I would advise you to listen to what John Bitas, a very good MP of the Communist Party, spoke on this issue in the parliament. It's worth hearing. New 109 high yielding and climate resilient varieties of 32 field and cultivation crops to be released for farmers in next 2 years. 1 crore farmers will be initiated into natural farming. ये natural farming हम शुरू से चल रहा 10 साल पहले से. 10,000 need-based bio-input resource centers will be established. Atmanirbharta mission for pulses and oil seeds such as mustard, groundnut, sesame, soybean, and sunflower. Large-scale clusters for vegetable production and all that you can read. Inflation continues to be low and stable while people are suffering because of price rise, food products and all that. Go by what Ramesh's tweet. That brings out the reality better than this report, budget statement. Corporate tax reduction benefit given to foreign companies. Okay. In my view, the real highlights of the budget are as follows. The biggest highlight of this elections was that BJP lost in Ayodhya. Now, the biggest highlight of the budget 24 is a letter written by their own minister Gadkari suggesting changes in GST. कि भाई इंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम में तो एटलीस्ट 18% का जीएसटी मत काट लो. Pansar, in your view, any bigger highlight than this?
Because the knock which Modi has got in Maharashtra and your UP has given some kind of space to your Gadkari also to speak out now. Earlier, Gadkari was compromised. Now, even the RSS is speaking on his behalf. And they have also cornered Modi and Shah at this point of time.
So what my view was, it is interesting that it's a budget is presented by the government. So I mean, it has the approval of all the ministers. Definitely, it's a taken. So their own ministers is suggesting changes.
It's the cabinet which has approved the budget, etc. is concerned there. So therefore, it's just that it's a just time of brownie points scoring one over each other. That's the only thing in this point of time currently.
It also reflects how cohesive the government is.
Correct. That's what happens. Until now, your Modi was undisputed, virtually a lord kind of thing is there. Now this knock which he received in this election, that has brought him down. So now everybody has started questioning him at this point of time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks for your views, sir. Then you see the unemployment problem. If you remember how Modi tackled the problem of poverty by getting a false report generated by Niti Aayog stating that 25 crores have been lifted out of poverty in the recent times, And now, just before the budget, he got RBI to create some dubious report claiming creation of 8 crore new jobs in recent years. I don't know from where these 8 crore jobs have come up. So this is standard Modi tactics, refusing to acknowledge a problem. I hope you people remember that, it was claimed in the parliament that no deaths occurred due to shortage of oxygen during COVID. In defense of this trash Agnipath scheme, Modi spoke some lies about pension and all that, which I could not understand. So, I mean, you people may understand better. Rajnath spoke lies about compensation to martyred Agniveers in the parliament, which Rahul Gandhi exposed. And the last word on this Agni Path scheme was Thakur lied that 100% guarantee is given to all Agniveers post-retirement. So this is the way things are going, and this is the real highlights as per me. Other highlights were there was no mention of any plan to fulfill the 9.64 lakh vacant government posts. So they're trying to cut down fiscal deficit and earning, praise from IMF and all that, and your own jobs are unfulfilled. Because of that, you have train accidents and all the drivers are overworked. If you listen to some of the views on these issues, like some of our students also talked about. The continued focus on infrastructure, a tax policy to fleece the middle class. A lot of things have come up on this. You can follow those. And there is no genuine effort made to tackle the real issues. So now I come to what's my assessment overall. What's going to happen? Wealth inequality will increase. Corruption, there is going to be no change. Unemployment situation will worsen. Farmer state will worsen. Private investment will not increase by government saying, that इतना आपको benefit दे दिया, कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स में आपको 8 लाख 8.5 लाख करोड़ से ऊपर का बेनिफिट मिल गया तो इन्वेस्ट करो. They will not invest because उनका capacity utilization is between 70 to 75%. So they're not going to do that. And consumption increase नहीं हो रहा. जब demand नहीं होगा तो वो invest क्यों करेगा? He will not do. So that's the thing. Wages unlikely to change. Consumption, no plans are there. Agnipath scheme will continue so long as the masses of India decide to get Modi out. And in my view, the way things are going, people will throw Modi out by the end of this year. Yeah, Praveen, you raise your hand. Please state your what you want to ask or share.
Sir, in terms of wealth inequality, I would just like to highlight that even though we see in like cities like Mumbai, where there is Antilla Tower at one side and the side we have slum, but still, like if you see like Wikipedia and all the other documents, the Gini of India is quite low. That is 32 nearly. So actually, by the number, we are very much equal. And for countries like Canada, it's nearly 28, I guess. So by numbers, we are very much equal, but in reality, it doesn't appear so.
Absolutely right. Yeah, Aniket?
Sir, I would like to say something about Agnipath scheme, sir.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
सर सर अग्निपथ स्कीम में सर उसी की वजह से सर ट्रूप का सर हम लोग का कमी हो जा रहा है सर. यहाँ पे और एक प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा बच्चे जो है ना सर CAPF और जो होता है बाकी का SSC GD वगैरह में जाते हैं. हमारे यहाँ पे बहुत सारे बच्चे आर्मी में जाते थे एंड दैट वाज नाउ रिड्यूस्ड एंड देयर इज अ बैड मतलब एक व्यू पॉइंट बन गया आर्मी के लिए सर. पहले आर्मी के लिए रेस्पेक्ट होता था. यहाँ पे जो लड़के दौड़ते हैं उनके लिए अब बस घृणा आ गया आर्मी के लिए. दे डोंट लाइक आर्मी एनीमोर. That is the thing which is going on due to Agnipath.
Absolutely, your point is valid, Aniket. The attraction towards army has grossly reduced in Western UP, Haryana, Punjab, which are the very major areas where army is very, very popular as a job, the way of life. That's true, absolutely true. Yeah, Raj.
So because of this Agniveer scheme, the burden is also put on the state government कि आप कोटा इंट्रोड्यूस करो इनके लिए. तो उनपे भी प्रेशर आ रहा है कि आप पुलिस में अग्निवीर के लिए अलग से कोटा दो, जिसकी जरूरत बेसिकली है थी नहीं उनको. और सर सीएपीएफ में भी इनको 10% दिया है, तो बाकी जनरल लोग सफर कर रहे हैं इस कोटा की वजह से. दैट्स समथिंग आई फील.
एब्सोल्युटली वैलिड. और वो उधर ठाकुर
सर
साहब टू से वो ठाकुर ने बोला 100% गारंटी है.
सर ये जो लोग कोटास और ये कर रहे हैं, सीएपीएफ में 12.5% है, रेलवेज में है, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स में है, वो अभी भी लेस देन 1% भरा हुआ है. तो अभी तो आप एक्स सर्विस मैन को भरनी जा रहे, क्योंकि एक सर जो हवलदार रिटायर होता है, ही इज हायर्ड इन द लोएस्ट पॉसिबल वो एज अ कांस्टेबल. तो सर वो क्यों जाएगा? कोई सेंस ही नहीं है. लेटरल रिजर्वेशन की बात नहीं हो रही सर. लीव अग्निवीर, अभी कोई एसएस ऑफिसर मेजर बन के रिटायर होता है तो हरियाणा गवर्नमेंट में उसको तहसीलदार बनाते हैं, विच इज इक्वल टू अ सूबेदार. तो मतलब सर दिस इज ऑल टॉक. अगर आप थोड़ा भी डिटेल में जाओगे तो इट्स इट्स जस्ट बुलशिटिंग एंड दे जस्ट वांट टू गेट रिड ऑफ द पेंशन बजट. वो उनको पैसे नहीं देने, बस वही है रीजन.
सर व्हाट इफ कोई कारगिल जैसा कुछ हो गया तो वापस, बिकॉज देयर हैज बीन इन्फिल्ट्रेशन इन जेएनके से हो
We
रहा है
will
सर धीरे
talk
धीरे.
about it separately. We will have a talk on Kargil by Manish Bhatnagar and Brigadier Sarvesh Tangwal soon. Very eminent persons on the study. They will talk. Then we will discuss. Security को भी छोड़ते हैं, आज economics पे रखते हैं focus. Okay. So this is all I had to share with you. Any questions to me or in general? Anybody can answer. Pansa, you wanted to add something, sir?
In fact, when somebody mentioned about this corporate tax being brought down,
Sir.
it has some past also, in the sense that until 2008, that your financial crisis which occurred, at that time the world we are globalized and the economy was taking off, and there was a lot of capacities were put in place. And post 2008, those capacities have remained underutilized. They were unutilized, and that never got fully utilized. So the thinking that the government thought that despite the fact there are underutilized capacities are there, and if we give them some kind of corporate incentive, they will again invest the money. Once they're fully the capacity which they have, they are not, that is not being utilized. Why will they create additional capacities at this point of time? The first thing at the very outset, at that point of time, giving the corporate tax reduction, etc., was incorrect. And if that was given during the period of COVID, when the government had to do many things, so that time that thing could have been withdrawn. And third thing, at this point of time, since the government has not done enough to improve the market, people's purchasing power.
Consumption basically, demand and consumption.
The demand, this is market demand has not gone up. How will the capacities be further created?
Absolutely.
So that will always remain. So the government may give whatever incentive in that regard. Regarding Agniveer, similarly, during the period of COVID, every year the government did not fill up 60,000 odd vacancies. 2 lakh vacancies, etc., have been created from that particular point of time, and they are still not been filled, because every year that many Agniveer are not being taken to compensate for the earlier 3 years also. And by the time, just wait for another 1 year. After that, those people will start coming out 75%, etc., or whatever. If the government makes any changes, what is going to happen thereafter is a quite a unknown thing, etc. What we are staring at ahead of 5 or 10 years, etc. In the regard of the effect of the Agniveers in that regard.
Sir, wouldn't that put a lot of load on the army, because we need men on ground? We're not fighting wars like Israel where we are very tech heavy. So if there is such a shortage of soldiers, how will the army cope up, sir?
That point is there, but GD Bakshi साहब भी तो यही बोल रहे हैं.
And even now also think a lot of technology has been there. Within 4 years, you cannot train an infantry Johnny also to fill up, to take care of all the equipment, etc., which currently has been provided in infantry battalion, because many things he learns on the job there. By the time he learns on the job, he'll be out from there.
Absolutely.
Sir, how did the serving generals allow this? I mean,
well, we'll keep away from that at the moment.
Okay, sir.
It has been bulldozed. Yeah, my simple view is that their views were not taken; they have been bulldozed.
Sir, I agree totally with your view, sir. And sir, very
Sir, I
soon
want to ask one thing.
there would be some.
Kumar, just hold on. Let's have views from Nikhil first.
Sure, sir.
Sir, we are staring at an apocalypse, and now we are, we are trying to protect gates of our societies. This is what, it is very even with Agniveer, sir. Very soon there will be infighting in the army itself. You know, now we have second-class citizens and second-class soldiers. Very soon, so I don't know whether it is well thought or what it is, but I hope good sense prevails, sir.
Yeah, and in general, what are your views? Being a banker about the economy, अग्निपथ तो ठीक है.
अच्छा सर मैं इकोनॉमी को सर बहुत है ना आसान मैंने बहुत टाइम लगाया समझने में कि क्या है सर बेसिकली इकोनॉमी इज लाइक हाउ योर सिटीजन्स विल परफॉर्म इन द सेंस व्हाट इज द काइंड ऑफ वर्क दे विल बी डूइंग ओवर द ईयर्स और व्हाट इज द काइंड ऑफ वो मैस्लो हायरार्की में वो कहाँ पे स्टैंड अप करेंगे सो आई डू नॉट सी यू नो वी वुड बी प्रोग्रेसिंग ऑन दोज टर्म्स so the kind of jobs and everything would be lowered, sir, in terms of wherever we are standing, the kind of quality of work which every citizen is doing. In times, it will be, you know, on a much more lower scale of, you know, whatever operational excellence and whatever characteristics. And soon the economy of the country would also become like some other countries which are not, you know, so well thought of. So that's what I personally believe. So basically, sir, मेरा इकोनॉमिक्स का ये है कि अगर हम जो भी इंटरेस्ट एंड अदर थिंग इज इट्स बेसिकली कंसेंट ऑफ योर सिटीजन्स टू वर्क टुवर्ड्स दोज मार्जिन्स व्हिच यू हैव क्रिएटेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट सो आई होप सर मैं समझा पा रहा हूँ बट आई होप व्हाट आई नीड टू टेल अक्रॉस
Yeah, absolutely valid points. Yeah, Shubhangi, thanks, Nikhil.
थैंक यू सर थैंक यू
Welcome. Kumardeep.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I was asking that I've seen the podcast of seen the podcast of Air Chief Marshal R.K. Bhadauria. तो वो बता रहे थे कि जो ये स्कीम थी सर उसके ऊपर तीनों चीफ ने सर 2 से 3 साल के ऊपर डिस्कस किया था सर देयर आफ्टर दे हैव टेकन दिस डिसीजन बट आई वांट टू आस्क कि फिर जो सब रिटायर्ड ऑफिसर है व्हाई दे आर सेइंग दैट इट इज नॉट करेक्ट एंड some of them they are saying that it is correct.
Kumar, see, I will tell you, one thing is there are complications in this. You see, General Narawane, I have been following him, and he spoke positively about it once upon a time. Thereafter, in his book, which has not got published, and the publication has been withheld, he has gone on to say things which, in my view, are closer to the truth.
सर इवन नाउ लेटेस्ट जो उन्होंने द प्रिंट और इनको इंटरव्यू दिए हैं नाउ ही इज सपोर्टिंग इट बैक सो आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज गोइंग ऑन इन हिज माइंड
I have not heard those. Acha, he has again supported Agnipath
यस सर
scheme.
उन्होंने एक मोनोलॉग वाला एक ऐसे 5-10 मिनट का प्रिंट पे बोला था एंड सपोर्टिंग अग्निवीर सो इवन आई वाज शॉक्ड कि सर आप चाहते क्या हो किताब में कुछ और लिख रहे हो बोल कुछ और रहे हो मतलब मोदी जी को कितना खुश करोगे मतलब शर्म आती है सर
So
देख के
that is the confusion, sir.
तो कंफ्यूजन को अगर आपने दूर करना है तो जो मैंने वीडियो बनाया हुआ वो देखा आपने कुमार?
सर आप
Long back,
किस
when this
वीडियो की
scheme
बात कर रहे हैं?
came, that time I made a video, and those are based on यार मैंने करीब 29 साल नौकरी की है फौज में, इन्वेंट्री वाला हूं, मैं जानता हूं फौज में क्या हो रहा है.
Okay.
So I have explained things about which there are no answers. Firstly, like now in recent times, Modi साहब said के age कम कर देंगे and all that. Age was never an issue. कारगिल रिव्यू कमेटी ने कहा था कि कमांडिंग ऑफिसर्स की एज कम होनी चाहिए. There was no point ever came up with overall Indian Army की एज या डिफेंस फोर्सेस की एज कम करनी चाहिए. That's was never an issue. So you're trying to solve problem which was never raised.
ओके
ठीक है
सर।
ना? आप वो वीडियो सुनिए, आई पुट आउट ऑल द डिटेल्स देयर इन दैट, एंड यू विल फाइंड लॉजिक इन दोस थिंग्स. ठीक है ना कुंवर?
ओके
या
सर।
शुभांगी?
So, in the presentation that we saw earlier, it was mentioned that the current rate of inflation is something that is people of India are dissatisfied with. But current rate of inflation is 4.8%, and that is categorized in creeping inflation, which is good for an economy of any country because this will lead to more production and it will lead to economic growth. So, why in the long run it is a good thing? Then why are people opposed by it?
A very nice point of economic, Shubhangi. Excellent point. Thing is that there are differences in theory and practical things. Now let us explain. Theoretically, your point is absolutely valid. कि ग्रोथ जो है करीब डबल डिजिट के करीब होनी चाहिए, 10% के आसपास की होनी चाहिए, और करीब 4% का इन्फ्लेशन इज एक्सेप्टेबल, क्योंकि जब ग्रोथ होगा, साइज ऑफ इकोनॉमी ग्रो करेगी तो इन्फ्लेशन होगा, क्योंकि डिमांड विल एक्सीड सप्लाई. बट सी द कंडीशंस क्या है. डिमांड तो कहां बढ़ रही है? डिमांड ग्रोथ इज 4%.
Right, so.
That is one. Secondly, go back to the tweet of Ramesh. How it is impacting the people. You know, food का inflation क्या है? Unacceptable.
सर इट्स 30%. वही आई वुड लाइक टू ऐड कि वो एक गरीब आदमी के लिए दैट फूड इन्फ्लेशन इफेक्ट्स अ लॉट, बट अमीर आदमी के लिए वो एक्सपेंडिचर बहुत कम होता है फूड पे.
That is what it is ना. ट्रांसपोर्ट, एलपीजी, ये सबकी जिंदगी अफेक्ट कर रहा है. तभी तो देखो ना शुभांगी, हमने बोला ना आपको दिया कि भाई जो है जिनके पास 3% वेल्थ है वो 64% जीएसटी दे रहा है. अंडरस्टैंड दिस थिंग शुभांगी.
Right, so.
आ रही बात समझ में?
Yes, so.
हाँ, पंत सर प्लीज हेल्प मी आउट.
I would not use any word figures. That low inflation does help the growth of the economy. But if you are talking about the 8% inflation, is it a nominal inflation or is it an inflation, can say, without the, can say, taking into account the inflation?
No.
Because inflation is one
this is
aspect
real
of the growth of
GDP.
economy. There
Sir,
are
real
multiple other
GDP.
aspects also there.
Sir, real GDP is around 8.2 what they came out with, and inflation is little over 4% at the moment.
So what I'm saying, the broad figures stating is not very easy, possible, but low inflation can help in the growing economy. But it's not necessary that every economy or the economy like ours will also get benefited, because other factors are not in place at the moment. There have to be other factors also have to be in place, because the market demand, when it is not going up and the inflation is high, that will not help in that situation. The most important factor at this point of time is the market demand. Unless until people's purchasing power it goes up, the GDP will not grow up at a tremendous rate, etc.
Absolutely, sir. Yeah, Nikhil.
Sir, I will only add, sir, like the inflation basket which you consider. So if you start considering health and all those, see, it is all a parameter which is decided by the economist. So if economist wants to take a narrow view of it by taking only the cost of potatoes or the cost of, WPI, then you might get a very good statistic, but it is not a real descriptor of the economy or the lives of the people in the country. So you will have to add education to it. You will have to add healthcare to it. So then you will get a realistic view. Again, in any kind of economic measure, you see there are outliers. You can have a very good, growth of one particular sector, but and when you take an average for it, you will get that, considerably a high growth. But that's not the real view of the, economy. And at the same time, whatever measure we talk, it has to be a fair measure to every individual. So, so then we can talk about the, like during the industrialization, a lot of developing economies They were, even then you can even justify the slave trade, if you just go by such kind of measures, and when you try to justify growth. So those has to be, in all those terms. And when an economist has a will to calculate such kind of, honest measures, and then they will try to take a more, prudent view of all this. Inflation has to be a subjective one. It cannot be a siloed one, when you just consider one particular set of basket which suits you. And then again, the base of it is also much more important. What is the base here which you are, utilizing it for calculating? So that, sir, it's a field like, it's like a poetry, sir. We can talk a lot about it, but at the end of the day, what individual feels it, I think I'll go by that measure. That's what I can say, sir.
Absolutely, absolutely. Nikhil Shupanki, I'll just add a few points more. You see, the reality thing is that we saw that wages are not increasing. And we also know as a fact that some of the prices of very essential things have gone up. Doodh, atta, tel, edible oil, cooking gas, petrol, diesel, all that. तो उससे क्या हो रहा है? The individual is adversely affected, and that is why we are having these problems in the poverty and hunger indices. You getting the point, Shubhangi?
Yes, I am now.
Achha, good, thanks. So thank you very much for attending, sir, and we'll keep interacting. And all of you attending the session, I hope some clarity has come to you as the state of India's economy is concerned and what we foresee in the future. Thanks a lot. All of you take care. God bless. Once again.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you very much. All the best. Col Nehru.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks, Nikhil.
Thank you, Nehru, sir. Privilege or mine, sir.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, boys and girls. Take care. God bless.